Good evening, I'm Rena Ninan. Tensions are high at the G7 summit in France, the annual gathering of the world's richest democracies. President Trump is there meeting with world leaders, but underneath the smiles and the handshakes are concerns about the teetering global economy, as well as President Trump's escalating trade war with China. Ben Tracy is traveling with the president in France.
The official welcome looked friendly enough, but it doesn't disguise the deep divisions between the U.S. and its allies over everything from trade and climate change to Iran's nuclear program.
Every once in a while we go at it just a little bit, not very much.
On Saturday, President Trump had lunch with his host, French President Emmanuel Macron. On Friday, Mr. Trump railed against France's plan to tax U.S. technology giants such as Google and Facebook.
And if they do that, we'll be taxing their wine or doing something else. We'll be taxing their wine like they've never seen before.
But it's the trade war with China that's rattling investors and American consumers, who are already paying hundreds of dollars more for Chinese-made products. On Friday, after Beijing announced retaliatory tariffs on $75 billion worth of U.S. goods, President Trump hit back, increasing tariffs on $550 billion worth of Chinese goods. Via tweet, the president then ordered American companies to start looking for alternatives to China, even though it's unlikely he could legally carry through on that order.
I have the absolute right to do that. We'll see how that goes, but I have the absolute right.
Here in France, President Macron is trying to avoid last year's G7 disaster, when Mr. Trump refused to sign the joint agreement at the end. This photo of an isolated American president summed up what's now known as the G6 plus one. Macron says he won't even bother with a joint communique this year, calling it a pointless exercise. This is likely to be the first G7 summit in its 44-year history that ends without any sort of signed agreement. Now, President Trump has called for a special session on the global economy tomorrow, and it's believed that he'll use that time to contrast what he views as the booming U.S. economy versus those struggling here in Europe. Rena?
Ben Tracy traveling in France.